The New York Yankees could bring back right-handed starting pitcher Michael King. That is according to Mark Feinsand of MLB.com, who says the Yankees are among clubs with a real interest in returning the right-handed pitcher to their roster. Other teams who are interested in King include the Chicago Cubs, the Detroit Tigers, and the New York Mets, at least teams with the most interest in King. There are some other teams on the periphery. He's got a good amount of value on this market, and with the starting pitching market having some frontline guys who aren't necessarily a fit for everybody or a financial fit for everybody, but also having some guys in the middle who could be really effective, such as King. We're going to kind of see how the Yankees are going to be able to manage this market, whether they should be in or not, how good King is compared to his contemporaries, all that and more right here on Fireside Yankees. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to get notifications and updates on our next uploads. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into today's video, and let's look at what Michael King has done as a starting pitcher since 2023 when he became a starter with the Yankees. Among starters with at least 250 innings pitched over that time span. Michael King's ERA is under 3. It's one of the few pitchers who have a sub-3 ERA over that stretch. It's 6th best in all of baseball. The only guys ahead of him, Garrett Cole, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Tariq Skubal, and Paul Skeens. If you look at his strikeout to walk percentage, which I believe is one of the most important stats when talking about starting pitchers or pitchers in general, Michael King grades out pretty well in this metric as well. Michael King's strikeout to walk rate of 19.3% is ahead of someone like a Shota Imanaga, Kevin Brown, Hunter Brown, Christopher Sanchez, Logan Webb, Luis Castillo, Nathan Eovaldi. It's in the range of guys like a Dylan Cease, a Brian Wu, a Blake Snell. So a pretty good strikeout to walk rate. He has struck out 27.4% of batters faced with an 8.1% walk rate, a 1.01 home runs per 9. So pretty average in that regard. But overall, the kind of pitcher who, if you add him to the middle of your rotation, you're getting a number 2 caliber starter and someone who I think has the stuff to be a number 1 starter on any given year. In 2024, King was closer to a number 1 than a number 2. He had a 2.95 ERA, 201 strikeouts. This year, ERA went up, FIP went up, strikeout to walk rate got worse, but I would attribute a lot of that to the injuries he sustained throughout the season. Michael King missed a good chunk of time in the summer. He only made 5 starts in the months of June, July, August, and September as he was battling injuries. Before his injury lists and kind of being stuck on the IL and bouncing back and forth there, he had a 2.59 ERA, a 3.26 FIP, a strikeout to walk percentage of 20.9%. So he was pitching like that frontline starter, looking like he was someone who's going to get that 5 or 6 year deal totaling north of $100 million. And then it all kind of came crashing down after the injury. If you look at his stuff plus numbers, they remained pretty consistent from his 2024 to 2025 season. But coming back from the injury, it dropped precipitously. A stuff plus of 93 in his final 5 starts post IL, an ERA of 6.11, a home run per 9 rate of 3.06, an uncharacteristically bad command score. His location plus was 98, reflected in the strikeout to walk rate of 3.6%. He struck out under 15% of batters faced, had a double digits walk rate. It was a really bad finish to the season for Michael King. But again, is that attributed to injury? Is that something he's cleaned up? Is this a pitcher who's going to hit the market as someone who's healthy, and our team's going to be willing to pay that high price tag? Are the Yankees going to have King on a 3 or 4 year deal? Kind of what's the situation here? What's the AAV here? I'm really curious to see what the Yankees end up looking at with Michael King and how the Yankees end up trying to manage this market here, because the interest looks to be pretty real. It's not one of those things where, the Yankees being linked to, let's say, a Pete Alonso or an Edwin Diaz, where the Yankees aren't signing Pete Alonso. They're not signing Edwin Diaz. In the case of Michael King, it's definitely possible that the Yankees go out and sign him. Now, the biggest obstacle here, in my opinion, is not his injury history. It's not his robust potential market. It is the fact that he has a qualifying offer attached to him. That is something that's not attached to right-handed starting pitcher Tatsuya Imai, who's the other notable free agent name on the market who the Yankees could target. King is a few years older than Imai. He's about 3 years older, and that is definitely part of this conversation as well. But his experience in New York, the excellent pitch mix, the swing and miss stuff that King has shown, he is a strikeout machine. It is really hard for me to sit here and say he wouldn't be an impact addition for this rotation, but I do wonder how the Yankees value him, how the market values him, and again, whether the Yankees are going to be willing to potentially pay a higher annual average salary for King than Imai, although it'd be marginal. Pay him for about 4 to 5 years and then not really and then try and show interest in bringing in a Cody Bellinger. Again, are they a team that's willing to give up that draft pick for Michael King? That's really the question here for the Yankees. And Personally, I think that the interest is real. I think the Yankees liked having Michael King. I know that when they traded Michael King to the Padres, they were not happy to have done so. They were hoping they could keep him. They viewed him as a number 2, number 3 caliber starter, the kind of guy who would fill in at the top half of their rotation, take playoff starts for them. And the Padres utilized him as a guy who they viewed as their number 2 starting pitcher. You could argue, and again, in 2024, he was their number 1 starting pitcher. He made 2 playoff starts in 2024. One really good, one really bad. That bad one came against the Dodgers. The great one came against the Braves. And again, just kind of looking at what Michael King has become at this point with the Padres, he was a good starting pitcher. He was a number 2, number 3 caliber starting pitcher, as I've said. And that's the kind of player who gets paid. That's the kind of player who has value on this market. There are health concerns. There are volume concerns. But at the end of the day, this is a good starting pitcher, someone I think the Yankees should be at least somewhat interested in over the offseason. If you want to kind of look at more recent data and look out and rule out that 2023. It is a few years ago. ERA's 13th, 3.03 over the last 2 years. He actually has a better ERA than Max Fried. This is among pitchers with at least 200 innings pitched. In terms of strikeout to walk rate over that stretch, his strikeout to walk rate is pretty good. Again, this is a guy who just has really good strikeout to walk rate numbers year in and year out. 18.3%. So even the recent data suggests this is a number 2 starter. This is potentially a number 1 starter. And I'm excited to kind of see how the Yankees address picking him up, trying to see whether they can go get him, and also trying to see if the Yankees are going to end up picking up any pitching depth outside of Imai or a number 1, or I guess a primary starting pitching target. Are they going to trade out of their depth chart? Would this open up a Will Warren trade? Would this open up a Luis Seal trade? But I kind of want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is this just nostalgia and, you kind of remember the fuzzy memories of Michael King in 2023 and you're translating them into signing him and that's not the best process? Or do you think this is a player who can actually help the Yankees a lot? I am in the camp that this is a guy who's going to help the Yankees. If they sign him, I would be happy with the addition, but I think I still lean Tatsuya Imai. No qualifying offer, younger pitcher, maybe lower AAV. Those all things kind of matter to me, but you kind of have to look at the final contract structures. We don't really know what the final contract structure is. We don't know what these guys are going to sign for. We don't know who these guys are going to sign with, but I'd love to get your guys' perspectives. Like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell to check out Fireside Yankees on all of your favorite social media platforms. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.
Perfect.